Thank you, Richard. I've got the dubious honour of being the last speaker before we break for coffee, so I will try and keep this as brief as possible. So yes, I'm Jim Irvine from Collins Bartholomew. So who actually is Collins Bartholomew? Well, we are the cartographic operation within HarperCollins Publishers. And the cartographic bit of HarperCollins is based in Bishopbriggs, just outside Glasgow. But there are two quite important brands embodied in our name. On one side there's Collins, and on the other side there's Bartholomew. Now both of these businesses were very long-standing Scottish-based businesses, and we can trace our roots on both sides back over 200 years. So we've got a long history of map making, and what kind of has almost embodied the whole business throughout that 200 years is a completely relentless focus on cartography and on mapping. Some of you probably know us as the guys behind the Collins and the Times range of atlases, but we do lots of other cartography, some for our own publications, some for other organisations. And we're still here, so we must be doing something right. We've been around for so long. I would echo what Vivian Godfrey said about the fact that sales of print products are actually increasing, which is good news all round. Bookshops are doing well. But we're also involved in the digital space, and as much as we were early adopters of digital technology in many ways. I think, I may be wrong in this, but I think we were the first commercial users of Arc Info, as it was back in the day in the UK, and that goes back to the late 1980s. And at that point, the decision was made to digitize all of our cartographic content, which was used for medium and smaller scale world atlas mapping, and that stood us in good stead because we've now got all of that content available to us. And we license it out to a range of different organisations that are using it for all sorts of different things. And what people that use our data tell us they like about it comes back to that focus on the cartography. They like the fact that our data is structured in such a way that it allows them to create attractive and authoritative maps from it, without having to think too much about generalisation and other kind of cartographic factors, because the data has been pre-created to create mapping at the appropriate scales. So it's kind of about the feature coding of the data, which gives you great flexibility in how you symbolise the mapping. It's also a lot about the editorial effort that we put in to make that data appropriate and authoritative. And that goes back to things like making sure that we understand the geopolitical landscape around the world, and we put a great deal of effort into making sure that we depict areas of dispute in a neutral way. Now, there's never going to be, it's just not possible to do it in such a way that somebody around the world isn't going to object, but we do try and do that as far as it's possible to do so. We put a great emphasis on place names as well. It's very important to people in local areas around the world that the places in those areas are named correctly. So we make a huge effort to do that, and we have a team of expert consultants that come in and advise us on those things and on the geopolitical aspects as well. And we have a team of people whose focus is researching revision information around the world. When visitors come into the office, they look around and they see 3 or 4 people sitting surfing the internet, and they think they're not doing anything, but I always tell them they're probably doing the most important job in the whole office, and that they are the guys whose fingers are on the pulse, and they know about that new bypass being built in Poland. They know about that lake that's shrinking in Chad because of global warming, and they know about the conflict on that particular border between Venezuela and Guyana. So all of these things go into adding value and making sure that our mapping and the data from which that mapping is derived is as authoritative and as accurate and fit for purpose as possible. That has always been our focus for over 200 years, and I see it continuing to be our focus into the future, hopefully for another 200 years. Thank you very much.